What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So I'm gonna start this video with Samson dauda, who is back in his hometown after winning in France and securing his Olympia spot for 2025. So the more pictures we are getting out of this year's France Pro, the more you realize how crazy Samson's overall aesthetics were looking at that show. So there is a reason why so many of his fans and so many people in the bodybuilding community still believes that Samson can win this year's Miss Olympia, and that there is a 100% chance that he's gonna be fighting for the top spot. The reigning 212 Miss Olympia Pearson is also in that list, who said it on the Menace podcast that Samson dauda can win this show. But he did have Hadi Choopan winning the Olympia, simply because we haven't seen Samson at his 100% just yet.
If Samson's 100%, he will be the Mr. Olympia, 1000%. But I'm gonna play with the politic game. I'm gonna say Hadi first. That's probably number one.
So we are about 10 days out of this year's men's open bodybuilding prejudging, and every day is gonna count for Samson dauda as well as for every single athlete who is trying to win this year's Olympia title to just keep on digging deep and continue to get shredded. Because the thing is, everyone who competed, especially in the last couple of months, like Andrew Jacques, Hunter Labrada, Logic says, with more time and with more dieting, they are 100% gonna be more shredded than what these guys look like in their respective shows. Now Samson has to get Hadi and Derek on the shape, the aesthetics, and the weight, because there is a consensus that it is gonna be so damn hard for every single one of these guys to match Hadi Choopan and Derek Lunsford in the conditioning department, because both of them, they are gonna be the most shredded guys on that stage. So as the Olympia approaches, and we are now less than 2 weeks out of this year's big show, the 7 times Miss Olympia Phil Heath, he just keeps on getting better and better. So I have to say there could not have been a better nickname for Phil Heath than the Gift. I mean, just look at those genetics. And he said this in an interview very recently, that he trains a maximum of 2 or 3 times per week. And the man has still got plenty of size. And more importantly, he has got the shorts as well. The quads in particular look absolutely amazing, considering the man is about to turn 45. And the quads are the first thing to go when these guys get over 40 years old. And the funny thing is that he doesn't even train his legs. So I believe Phil Heath at his best, he would have continued to win the Olympia up until 2020, which was basically his last bodybuilding competition. The man was just absolutely untouchable in his prime. I mean, only a few athletes in the history of bodybuilding, they have been able to deliver a performance like Phil Heath did back in 2013, where he was sent back in line after just one comparison, because there was just so much gap between him and Ty Green. So every single time Phil Heath posts a physique update, some fans expect that he is going to return to the stage and maybe do the Masters Olympia. I have to say, I don't know if there is any amount of money that can convince a guy like Phil Heath to put on those posing trunks again. His legacy has already been cemented as one of the all-time greatest in the bodybuilding history, because winning 7 Olympia titles in a row, I do not think we are going to see that happen again anytime soon. Next up is the physique update from Keone Pearson. Imagine Keone 4 to 5 pounds heavier than what we saw at last year's Miss Olympia, and that too with way more detail. I mean, the man has more detail on his quads already, and we still have more than 10 days to go before this year's Miss Olympia. Now I have to say no disrespect to any other athlete who is trying to win the 212 Olympia title this year, but I'm gonna say unless Keone Pearson messes up big time in the upcoming days, and the chances of that happening is looking very slim, he is gonna win the Olympia this year hands down. The man has dedicated 100% to bodybuilding, especially this year. Even after winning the Olympia this year, when Keone was going through that phase, where he was focused on trying to get his health in check, when he was in that detox phase, he was still eating clean and training really hard even at that time. So unless he messes up in these final 10 days, it is game over. Keone Pearson at his very best, he is almost impossible to beat now. He has that superior structure, he has that unbelievable shape, those crazy aesthetics, the way he flows top to bottom, and most importantly, his weak points, like his hamstrings, like his back, they were the main point of focus after winning the Olympia last year. They too have improved drastically this year. His glutes are already looking very dry, and Patrick Tour, his coach, he knows Keone's physique really well now. These two have been working together since 2022, and Keone has just continued to get better and better with every passing competition. So I am expecting Keone Pearson to be at his all-time best in 10 days time. And I believe he is gonna absolutely dominate this show. Next up is the 6 weeks out physique update of Marcelo, aka Horse Md. So he is doing Romania Pro, which is gonna be the first show after this year's Miss Olympia. So he has that camera set up very far away to get that perfect angle, to get the perfect lighting. And is that the case? So that he can enhance his V-taper. Yes, that is 100% true. And this is what social media is all about. Let me freshen up your memory. Based on his physique updates, almost everyone who has a voice in bodybuilding, they had Horse Md in their top 4 for this year's Arnold, Ohio. And the results were just complete opposite of that. Now he is a good bodybuilder, there is no doubt. I mean, the man has great arms. He has those massive quads. But the thing is, he needs to get better from the back. And that too by a lot. And he also needs to do something about his waistline as well. So considering that Horse Md had a good 4 to 5 months of dedicated off-season, he is definitely gonna be better. But to what extent? This is what we have to wait and see. Romania Pro was the same show, where Horse Md made his pro debut just 1 year ago. And he was able to beat 2 guys who are qualified for this year's Miss Olympia, Nathan Yesha and Muhammad Fada. So there is something that the judges really liked about his physique. Now his conditioning for this year's Arnold, that also wasn't as good as it was back in Romania Pro. So Horse Md has also continued to work with Milos Sarcev, and credit must be given to Milos. He is one of the best coaches out there when it comes to putting on size on an athlete. I mean, just look at Samson dauda and how he was able to put on plenty of mass under his coaching and his guidance. And so has Horse Md. Next up is the physique update from Akim Williams, who is one of the multiple guys in this year's Olympia lineup who are trying to get into that top 10. So Akim posted one back update just a couple of weeks ago. And I have to say, never ever did his back. It looked that impressive, especially this far out of the show. It seemed like that he had abs on his lower back. Now he is gonna lose that back double biceps to everyone in this year's Olympia top 10, even though his back looks this good at the moment. So Akim Williams for sure was at his all-time best at this year's Arnold, Ohio, especially at the finals. And still he wasn't able to beat Rafael Brandao. So realistically speaking, he will be fighting really hard to get that 10th spot this year. Because I think we can all agree, Akim is gonna have a very hard time beating guys like Rafael Brandao and Martin Fitzwater. And those guys are falling anywhere from 7th to 9th at this year's Olympia. Now, I know anything can happen on the day of the show, but that is for sure a possibility. So that 10th spot, that is up for grabs for so many guys like Akim Williams, John De Rosa, Muhammad Fada, William Bonac, and a couple of other guys as well. So Akim has worked extremely hard to get back into that second call-out. He sure can outmuscle a lot of these guys, especially in that second call-out. And he has got awesome symmetry as well. It is all gonna come down to how conditioned he looks, especially at the prejudging. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.